This is Lesson 9.3b, Expanding. Our essential question for today: how do I expand the product of binomials? How do I change from vertex form to general form? How do I square a binomial? And how do I change from factor to general form? Expand the quadratic in two ways. So first we'll do the box method, which we just learned how to do. X minus 2x plus 9. So then we multiply inside the box. X times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. X times 9 is 9x. And negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. And then I combine like terms. So 9x and negative 2x. Write out what we have. X squared and then plus 7x, because that's what we get when we do 9x plus negative 2x. And then we still have the minus 18. Now I'm going to show you another way to do it. It's called FOIL. You'll be able to pick either way that you would like. I personally prefer the box method. I find that students make less mistakes when using the box method. But I still want to show you in case your teachers want you to use FOIL or you see it down the road. So I'm just going to write out what we have. X minus 2 and then x plus 9. And so basically we're just going to do a lot of swoopies. Swoopy lines distributing. You might have heard rainbows, all kinds of different names for this. So x times x is x squared. So I'm going to multiply x by everything in the other group. And then x times 9 is 9x. 9x. So now I have multiplied x by everything in the other group. So now I need to multiply negative 2 by everything in the other group. So negative 2 times x would be negative 2x. And negative 2 times 9 would be minus 18. And then you combine like terms. And we get x squared. 9x and negative 2x is 7x. And we still have the minus 18 chilling there. So either way, I get x squared plus 7x minus 18. So moving forward, I'm going to continue to use the box for all of these. If you prefer FOIL, you can give it a try. Just be super careful. Students tend to make more mistakes with FOIL. So I recommend you use the box. If you don't have a box, you just go ahead and draw one in. That works out great. So I'm not going to do all of the problems on here because it is pretty much just review from what we did in the lesson before. But if you want to try all of them, that'd be really great. There are keys posted so you can see how to do the problems that I skipped. So starting with B, 2x minus 1, so 2x minus 1 and 3x plus 9. So I do 2 times 3 is 6, x times x is x squared. Moving over to the top right box, 3 times negative 1 would be negative 3, and we still have the x. 9 times 2 gives us 18, and we have that x there, so 18x. And then bottom right, 9 times negative 1 would be negative 9. Then we write out what we have, 6x squared. And we want to combine like terms. So 18x and negative 3x should give us 15x, which is positive, so plus 15x. And then minus 9. And if you notice, I always tend to write it with the x squared first, and then with just the x in the middle, and then with no x at the end. That is called descending order, and if you look, it looks kind of like general form. Let's go ahead and do C. So I'm going to need a box. And just go ahead and draw your boxes in. And then on my box, I have x minus 5 squared, which is the same thing as x minus 5 times x minus 5. So that's what I'll be writing on the box. X minus 5, x minus 5, x times x is x squared, and then x times negative 5 is negative 5x. Bottom left, negative 5 times x is negative 5x. And then bottom right box, negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. And we'll keep in mind that we're going to combine like terms. Negative 5x and negative 5x will be negative 10x. So we write out what we have, x squared, and then negative 5x minus 5x is negative 10x. When we combine those like terms there, and we still have 25, which is positive, so plus 25. So x squared minus 10x plus 25. Example C, convert from factored to general form. So here's where we want to remember the steps that we got in the lesson before this one, which if you remember, the first step is to do the box or expand. We're going to work on number 2. So I draw my box and I expand the quadratic. So on our box will be the x plus 5 and x minus 1. X plus 5, x minus 1. And then we go ahead and fill in the box. X times x is x squared, x times 5 is 5x, x times negative 1 is negative 1x, and negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. Don't forget that we can combine our x's. Negative 1x and 5x will give us 4x, and it's positive. And out front we will have x squared and negative 5. Next we need to rewrite the equation. So y equals 3 times what we just multiplied and got, x squared plus 4x minus 5. Next we would distribute. So y equals 3x squared. 3 times 4 is 12. X. 3 times negative 5 would be minus 15. Now we look to see if there's any like terms we can combine. I only have x squared, x, and then no x, so there's nothing new to combine. So we have converted from factored form to general form. Y equals 3x squared plus 12x minus 15. So the only thing new from example B to example C here is that these problems had a y equals out front. So we just had to remember to rewrite our equation and follow the steps. Convert from vertex form to general form. So we're going to go ahead and do number 2 here, and I'm going to need a box for my first step. To expand the quadratic, draw my box, and then what goes on my box will be x plus 5 and x plus 5. It's what's in the parentheses there. So x times x is x squared, x times 5 is 5x, 5 times 5 is 25, and then we combine 5x and 5x here, which will be 10x. So x squared plus 10x plus 25. Alright, next step is to rewrite the equation. So y equals, we're not doing this one, 2 times what we just got, x squared plus 10x plus 25. And then we still have a minus 1 that we don't want to forget about. Next we distribute. So y equals 2 times x squared is just 2x squared. 2 times 10 is 20. And there's an x, so 20x. And then 2 times 25 is 50. And then we have the minus 1 that we don't want to forget about. I do not distribute to it because it's outside of the parentheses. Minus 1. And then the last step, we combine any like terms, which if you look, we have 50 minus 1, so we'll get 49 there. So if we rewrite it, y equals 2x squared plus 20x plus 50 minus 1 is 49. And then we are done. And we have converted from vertex form to general form. Alright, the directions say to convert to general form, I'm going to expand as always the first step. I draw my box, and on my box I have 2x plus 9 and x plus 3. And so then 2x times x is 2x squared. X times 9 is 9x. 2 times 3 is 6 with the x. And 9 times 3 is 27. Alright, so y equals 2x squared. And then 6x and 9x is 15x. And plus 27. Looking at this, I can see that we have no like terms to combine, and we don't have anything to distribute after rewriting our equation, so that one is done. Alright, just move this over so I got some more room. I'm going to do my box over here for this next example. And on my box it says x minus 1 squared, so it's the same thing as x minus 1. X minus 1. X times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x, or negative 1x. Same thing here. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So now we rewrite the equation. Y equals 3 times what we just got, which would be x squared. And then negative 1x and negative 1x is negative 2x right there. So minus 2x. And then we have the 1 left, which is positive, so plus 1. And then we still have the plus 7 there. Next, we would need to distribute with our swoopy lines. So y equals 3 times x squared. It's really like 3 times 1, which is 3, and then the x squared. And then 3 times negative 2 would be negative 6 with the x. And then 3 times 1 is 3. And I do not distribute to the plus 7, but I do need to write it down. Now we look to see if there are any like terms that we can combine. And you see we have 3 and 7, which will give us 10. So y equals 3x squared minus 6x plus 10. And we have gone to general form again here. Next one, we always start with our box. We expand. So x minus 5 is what goes on my box. X squared minus 5x minus 5x and 25 if I fill out my box. So now I can rewrite the equation and include what I just got from my box. Y equals x squared. Negative 5x and negative 5x is negative 10x plus 25. We're rewriting the equation, so that's what we just got. And then we have the plus 6 there. Now there's nothing to distribute because there's nothing out front. So I move on to the last step, which would be to combine like terms. So I no longer need the parentheses since there's nothing to distribute. But 25 and 6 will give us 31. So if we write it out, y equals x squared minus 10x plus, combine these like terms here, 31. And now it is in general form. Last one, we start with the box and expand our quadratic. Always draw your box in. And then on my box would be 3x minus 8 and 4x plus 1. Top left box, 3 times 4 is 12. X times x is x squared. Top right, 4 times negative 8 is negative 32, but it was a 4x, so that would be negative 32x. Bottom left, 3 times 1 is 3 with the x, so we get 3x. And then 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. So next we will rewrite the equation, keeping in mind that I can combine 3x and negative 32x, which is negative 29x. So if I rewrite my equation, y equals 12x squared. Combine those like terms to get minus 29x, and then we still have the minus 8. There's nothing else left to write. I don't have anything to distribute or anything to combine like terms left, so I'm done and it is in general form. And this concludes lesson 9.3b.